What was once considered a closed and politically sensitive chapter may now be entering a new and potentially explosive phase. Allegations have resurfaced, documents are reportedly being re-examined, and pressure is mounting on institutions to account for what critics describe as unanswered questions that have lingered for years. This is not just about one tragic death. It is about accountability, institutional trust, and the political future of senior figures within the African National Congress. In this investigation, we examine what has resurfaced, who may be implicated, and why the implications could be far-reaching. Mthethwa's death initially shocked communities and raised immediate questions about the circumstances surrounding it. At the time, official statements indicated that investigations were underway, and authorities urged the public to avoid speculation. However, over time, critics and independent observers suggested that the case may not have received the full transparency many expected. According to sources close to the matter, certain evidentiary materials were either not fully explored or were set aside during earlier inquiries. Now, reports suggest that previously overlooked documentation and testimonies may be resurfacing, prompting renewed calls for clarity. This case matters because of who was allegedly connected to Mthethwa in the days and weeks before the death. While no court has established criminal liability against any senior political figure, allegations have emerged suggesting possible links between influential individuals and events surrounding the incident. The seriousness of these claims lies not in accusation alone, but in the potential institutional consequences if any wrongdoing were ever proven in a court of law. According to sources familiar with ongoing discussions, the new evidence reportedly includes financial documentation allegedly connected to related parties, testimony from individuals who were not previously part of the formal inquiry, internal correspondences that may shed light on decision-making processes. It is important to stress that these reports remain under review. No formal charges have been announced at the time of this recording. However, legal analysts suggest that if credible evidence establishes obstruction, negligence, or misconduct, the consequences could extend beyond individuals and into party structures. The African National Congress has faced increasing scrutiny in recent years over governance, accountability, and internal factionalism. While the party remains a dominant force in South African politics, its public image has been tested by repeated controversies. Should renewed investigations into Mthethwa's death gain momentum, opposition parties are likely to demand parliamentary oversight and possible judicial intervention. Within the party itself, analysts note that internal divisions could deepen if the case begins to implicate senior members or former office holders. The situation places the ANC leadership in a delicate position, balancing legal due process with the need to demonstrate transparency to the public. Law enforcement authorities have reportedly acknowledged that aspects of the case are being revisited. While officials have not confirmed specific details, statements indicate that all relevant information will be assessed in accordance with legal standards. South Africa's constitutional framework provides strong oversight mechanisms. Should evidence meet prosecutorial thresholds, the matter would proceed through established judicial channels. Legal experts emphasize that South Africa's courts have historically demonstrated independence in high-profile political matters. If formal proceedings were to be initiated, they would unfold under strict evidentiary scrutiny. For now, however, no formal indictments have been announced. Public reaction has been intense but measured. Social media discussions, civil society commentary, and political analysts have highlighted a growing demand for accountability in cases involving politically connected individuals. Many citizens express concern not only about this specific case but about broader perceptions of unequal accountability in South Africa's political system. At the same time, there are voices urging caution, warning against trial by public opinion before verified findings are released. This tension between urgency and due process defines the current moment. The central question remains, could this lead to senior ANC figures facing prosecution? The answer depends entirely on evidence and judicial findings. If investigations uncover credible proof of criminal misconduct, and if prosecutorial authorities determine that legal standards are met, then charges could follow. However, it is critical to distinguish between allegations and legally proven facts. Political consequences may precede legal ones. Even the reopening of sensitive investigations can affect internal leadership dynamics, influence party conferences, and shape public perception ahead of elections. In South Africa's highly competitive political climate, perception often carries significant weight. South Africa has entered what many analysts describe as an accountability era. From state capture inquiries to corruption investigations, institutions have faced mounting pressure to restore public trust. Any renewed scrutiny surrounding Mthethwa's death would take place within this broader national environment, one where voters are increasingly demanding integrity, transparency, and ethical governance. The outcome of this case could therefore extend beyond individuals. It may influence how future cases are handled, how whistleblowers are protected, and how political parties manage internal accountability. Each pathway carries different consequences, legally and politically. What remains clear is that the resurfacing of this case has reopened wounds that many believed had healed. If the new evidence withstands scrutiny, it could mark a pivotal moment in South African politics. Not because of sensational headlines, but because of what it would signal about institutional strength and accountability. If nothing substantial emerges, it could reinforce the importance of careful, evidence-based investigation in politically sensitive matters. Either way, the resurfacing of Mthethwa's case forces the country to confront a deeper question. Are South Africa's institutions strong enough to pursue the truth wherever it leads, regardless of political consequence? As investigations continue, the nation watches closely. The outcome may shape not only reputations but the broader trajectory of governance and public trust. This is a developing story, and its next chapter could redefine political accountability in South Africa.